Hi, welcome to Tech Talks, the People and Planet podcast. On this episode, I'm joined by Carly Bigi, the CEO and founder of sustainable apparel startup, Laws of Motion. Carly, hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really interested to learn more about this one. So tell us more. Laws of Motion, what's the mission? What's the problem that you guys solve? And what inspired you to get there?
Yeah, so Laws of Motion virtually predicts customer body measurements with 99% accuracy to help customers know their best fitting sizes when shopping online and to help brands better fit their customers while reducing returns and increasing conversion. You know, the root of what we're solving for is the fact that sizing is inconsistent. It's inconsistent across geographies, it's inconsistent across brands, it's inconsistent within brands, and that inconsistency creates confusion. And that confusion has led to a $1 trillion a year crisis for apparel brands. Returns cost brands over $1 trillion a year. They contribute to 25 billion pounds of textile waste, and we're here to solve for that.
That's incredible, isn't it? So you know, people would buy the incorrect sizing clothes and then send them back, and they don't get recycled. Is that how it works?
That's part of it, yeah. Only about 50% of returns actually get resold. And when you think about it, because those products are out of inventory by the time they return to the brand, you're looking at 20, 30% plus discounts to account for the fact that other styles have already been released. And it's pretty shockingly, when you look at the stats, over 75% over 75% of returns are because of fit issues, and over 65% of customers order multiple sizes of the same product. So very much a pervasive issue, very much something brands are eager to solve for.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And I think this resonates with pretty much everyone, doesn't it? Because as e-commerce grows, we all buy online. Totally. But the one thing that we can't do is touch and feel and try it on, right?
Right.
So tell us what's the solution? What does Laws of Motion do?
Yeah, so Laws of Motion, our sizing technology predicts customers' body measurements virtually. And we do that by allowing customers to choose between a 10-question fit quiz, a 2-picture body scan, or entering their measurements directly. And if a customer has used our technology before on a different brand that they've shopped, then they simply need to plug in their email and all of their best fitting sizes populate site-wide. It's pretty interesting, as we've gone live with other brands, certain brands, I can be 5 different sizes within the same brand. And it matters, right? Based on how the products are intended to fit, how they actually come back from the factory. So it's part art, part science, but something that we're really excited to bring to the entire industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens then? It's like a computer vision, AI-driven element.
That's exactly right. So we use AI in a number of different capacities. It's either using our fit quiz, which is 10 questions and also accounts for those subconscious biases that we all have about ourselves. So basically all humans lie, and it's a matter of how much we lie and what we lie about. And so in aggregate at scale, it's really clear to see those trends. So we've included those learnings in the way that our fit quiz predicts body measurements. We also have the body scan component. So customers can upload 2 photos, a front-facing and side-facing photo, and that is computer vision. Or they can enter their measurements directly. And the reason we offered 3 options is because there's a high correlation between customer demographics like age and how comfortable customers feel with engaging with different types of technology. So we've seen customers that are ages 40 and below almost exclusively use the body scan. Customers that are ages 40 through 60 almost exclusively use the fit quiz. And customers that are 60 and above know their body measurements to like 1/8 of an inch and prefer to enter them directly. And so we're really glad that we can meet customers where they are in terms of their comfort with technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Really interesting. So how have you arrived at building this business, and what's your background?
Yeah, so I am originally from Houston, Texas. I grew up with deep roots in the NASA shuttle program, and I was that 5-year-old that carried a backpack of tools in case I needed to build something or fix something, and not much has changed. I started my career in management consulting, which actually was the basis for how we informed, or what inspired rather, our value-based pricing model. And was shopping one weekend with a guy friend, and it was the first time I really appreciated how the other half shopped. He went into a semi-custom menswear shop and he sipped whiskey, picked fabric, got measured. He was out the door in 30 minutes, had a perfect fitting suit a couple days later. That was not my experience. I was looking for a basic black dress and was in and out of a dozen stores all Saturday, found something that sort of fit, got it tailored, and I went back to my team that Monday and I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but when I go to business school and I was about to start at Columbia, I'm going to find a way to use AI to solve for sizing in the apparel industry. And that is what we do. We've taken a pretty differentiated approach. We launched our own direct-to-consumer brand, which incubated the technology for the first couple of years, and not only allowed us to longitudinally study how customers engaged with the tech, which led to the choose your own adventure between FitQuiz, body scan, and measurements, but it allowed us to amass billions of data points that we've used to custom train our AI. And perhaps most important, it's allowed us to show the industry what's possible. The brand has less than a 1% return rate, 86% customer retention. It's shape and size inclusive, so really showing what's possible in the industry.
Nice. So are you guys still exclusively D2C, or are you now B2B as well?
We're both. So the direct-to-consumer brand will continue to scale, lawsofmotion.com, and it really functions as an R&D incubator for the technology. You could think of it that way. So, for example, we have an avatar functionality that introduces visual size preference. That'll go live first on lawsofmotion.com, and then we'll push that live to our licensing customers. But starting about 2 months ago, we began licensing our core sizing technology to other brands, which has been really exciting to see so much momentum.
That's nice. Okay, so and how long has Laws of Motion been in operation then?
We launched as a brand in 2019, commercialized our technology in 2023 for licensing, and began licensing at the end of Q1.
Sounds like you've done really well so far. I mean, it's rarely all plain sailing with startups, isn't it?
It's never.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm really interested to know. We have an awful lot of other founders that listen to this show, and it'd be interesting to find out how you navigated the challenges to get to where you are today.
How much time do we have? How have we navigated? I think that maintaining a growth mindset is really important. But a couple of examples of what we've run into. Very early on, I mentioned psychological coefficients, or basically addressing those like subconscious biases that people have. And when we first launched in 2019, we just had the FitQuiz. And for all practical purposes, it looked like it was predicting body measurements with incredible accuracy, over 99%. But we were getting feedback from customers that certain parts of their products weren't fitting perfectly. And so we double clicked into the data and saw very clear trends around customers over-reporting or under-reporting certain answers based on very clear correlation to demographics. And so we developed what we call psychological coefficients, which basically are adjusting the coefficients of that are predicting certain body measurements based on demographic information that is known within the FitQuiz specifically. So that was an interesting, again, growth mindset, like being curious, asking questions, leaning into the data, and that served us really well. I think any brand that navigated COVID and is still around had a certain set of challenges that they faced, and Laws of Motion pivoted our on-demand US-based supply chain. We produced over 5 million pieces of PPE in 2020. And so certainly lived through that while continuing our R&D of our sizing technology. But I think that came with its own set of unique challenges and growth opportunities.
Yeah, that's interesting. And did you find, though, that because of COVID, did you find that there was some opportunities that came out of that in terms of actual online shopping?
Yeah, our core business at the time, we were 9 months old. And when Laws of Motion launched, it was just a stellar first year, right? We were Time Magazine Invention of the Year. We were on the Today Show, Good Morning America, like great accolades. We were growing over 100% month over month. We had one product, Lee. We launched with one dress called the Alpha Dress, and it was intended to serve as a vehicle for validating that our prediction accuracy was correct. And it was a highly tailored chic dress. And so think of a product that you would wear to events or to work if you work in a, more of a services environment like law or banking or consulting. So naturally, when everyone moved to working virtually, the opportunity to sell that product disappeared. But what we saw was an opportunity to focus on supporting our community, focus on supporting our customers, and focus on supporting whatever contracts we could. And so we launched what was called the Hero Initiative. And we took the lining from our first product and we made these little silky robes that were $50, and called the Hero Robe. And the idea was to make our customers feel comfortable, help them feel comfortable staying home, while also connecting them to an opportunity to feel like they were helping when so many people felt helpless. So for every robe purchased, we donated 10 masks to a frontline hero in need. So from a community standpoint, we donated over 1 million masks in 2020. Wow. And then we supported several state healthcare system and Department of Defense contracts from a PPE standpoint. So a lot of opportunity from taking our core and like our purpose and just pivoting that purpose to serve a different need. But it was an interesting time.
Absolutely. No, thank you for sharing that. That's great. And lastly then, Carly, what comes next? You know, you've touched on a couple of things, but anything else that you'd like to share that's exciting for our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, really just 3 steps. You know, this year we're focused on onboarding our first 35 plus apparel brands that are looking to reduce returns and increase conversion. Step 2 is scale across the industry and help really move the needle on that $1 trillion return crisis and 25 billion pounds of textile waste each year. And then yeah, step 3 is just try to leave the world a better place. So 3 easy steps.
Easy.
And that's it, 3 steps.
And you guys have raised some money recently. I think a seed round, was it? And that's going to be to, I guess, build those 3 steps.
That's exactly right. So it's about commercializing and launching the licensing solution. It's about scaling our licensing sales team. So we're actively hiring. And it's about fast tracking R&D. We've got a number of really exciting R&D initiatives. So we'll also be hiring on the tech side of the house to build out our capabilities there.
Awesome stuff. Carly, thank you so much for joining us. It's all we've got time for, but we're really interested to learn more about laws of motion. Carly Bigi, thanks you again.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.